let's learn about arches. First up, I'll show you a semicircular arch, and obviously you can't always do perfect shapes in Minecraft, especially not circular ones. Oops. But I'll see if I can get it as close as I can. Is that semicircular? It's about as close as I can get it in this size. And right, so these two blocks that I just put in, these are called imposts. In terms of an arch, they are the pieces that the arch sits on. Sometimes they might protrude a little bit like that. You can make them protrude, or you can not make them protrude, but I would suggest generally having imposts supporting any large arch that you do. It just sort of sets it off nicely. An arch sitting directly on the imposts is called a semicircular arch. So you literally just have a semicircle from the imposts upwards. However, if we go to our next arch and we add imposts, say down here, and pretend that the arch is a lot higher, you can see that the arch isn't sitting directly on it. It actually stretches up, arches, and then goes right round. When it's taller, when it's placed right above the imposts, it's called a stilted arch. So it's almost like it's on stilts. These side parts can be any length. You can have them 10 blocks high if you wanted to, and have the imposts all the way down here. So I don't know, if you protrude them like that, it's probably, the difference is probably a little bit more prominent between these two. So you've got one sitting directly on it and one way above it. Semicircular and stilted. The next one, if you just do an arch, let's say if I was to do that, so it's not round, it's rounded, but it's not round. This is basically called a shouldered arch. So it's almost like, if you get back a bit, the shoulders of, say, a person. So a slight arch, but generally quite square. So that's called a shouldered arch. You don't really need imposts for a shouldered arch because it's not supporting a round piece of stonework, so to speak. Let's see, I'll do the pointed arch next, if I can. It'd be pretty tricky. I'll give it a shot. Oops, come on. So you can probably guess what this is going to look like though. This will be a lot easier to do on larger structures. Wonder if I can do that. Or now that's starting to take on a different shape. So this one's quite hard to do. Like I just said, on this kind of resolution, it might actually be easier to do if I don't use the stairs. Maybe if I just do that. So hopefully you can get the idea of the shape. It's like a curved point. It's called a pointed arch or a two-centered arch. I'd say pointed is probably easy to remember because it just literally looks like a point. Yeah, and let's see, I'll show you similar to the shouldered arch. So instead of looking like the shoulders of a person, it'll look more like, let's see, it'll have more of a curve to it. So it looks a lot, looks too rounded to be the shoulders of a person. This one's called a depressed arch because it's kind of like a normal arch, but it's been squashed, it's been depressed downwards. It's a lot more curved along the top than it is along the sides. So it's basically between the semicircular and the shouldered arch. The next one I'll do, let's see, is the four-centered arch. Hopefully I'll make it look good. So it's almost, if you imagine there's 4 diagonals, 2 verticals, 1 up there, and 1 up there. That's called a 4-centered arch. Normally it would be a little bit more rounded around here, but obviously I can't do that with this kind of resolution with the blocks. I could perhaps put that in. That's looking quite like a depressed arch. There's only 1 block difference here. But the idea, like I said, the idea of this is that it's a squashed round arch. The idea of this is that it's sort of pinched in the middle here. So that's the distinction between these two. Let's see, do I have another one? How many more have I got? I've got 3 more. I didn't know that I have that many arches. You can do... a sorry, a basket arch, which is, oops, that doesn't quite look right. Let's see if I can make it though. I might need a lot bigger arch to make a basket arch. No, I don't think I can. A basket arch basically looks like the, where is it? Oh. Looks like the shouldered arch, except in a shouldered one, this angle is a lot more distinct. In a basket arch, it's a lot rounder, and obviously the difference is a lot more apparent in real life than it is in Minecraft. So I've got I've got 6 arch designs here. All of them are possible on at least this resolution, which is 9 wide. You could do these on smaller or larger resolutions. All you need to do is get the angles. So you've got a circle sitting on the imposts, you've got a circle on stilts on imposts, you've got the rounded corners, the shoulders, semicircular, stilted, shouldered, you've got the pointed one, literally it's a curved point, you've got the depressed one, so it's been squashed down, and you've got the 4-centered one, which is almost the 4 angles, but you've got a little bit of roundness in the sides. And I'll stick to those 6, and hopefully you can find ways to use those.